The sun rose over the endless plains of the Pride Lands, painting the world in gold and fire. The wind carried the songs of life, the whisper of grass, and the distant call of lions. Among them was a cub, small yet full of light, Simba. His paws were unsteady, his eyes wide with wonder, and his heart beat with the innocence of one who believed that the world was made only of joy. Every morning, Simba followed his father, Mufaro, the mighty Lion King. The earth seemed to bow under Mufaro's steps, a leader noble, powerful, and wise. Simba walked beside him, his chest puffed out, trying to mimic his father's stride, his dignity, his quiet power. "Father," Simba once asked, "will I be a king like you one day?" Mufaro smiled, his deep eyes glowing with pride. "One day, yes. But a king's strength is not measured by how loud he roars or how hard he fights. It is measured by how he protects those who cannot protect themselves." Simba nodded, but in his young heart, the idea of strength was still tangled with pride. He wanted to be seen, to be heard, to be admired. He wanted to prove that he was worthy of the crown, not realizing that the heart of a king is built not in power, but in humility. The Pride Lands flourished. Rivers shimmered like glass, herds grazed in peace, and the circle of life moved in perfect harmony. But in the shadows of that peace, envy grew, dark and cold. Watching from the cliffs was Scaroon, Mufaro's brother. His mane was dark, his eyes colder still. He had once dreamed of ruling, but destiny had chosen another. Scaroon watched the cub with quiet hatred. Every laugh, every step, every moment of the young prince's joy fed his bitterness. He told himself that the world had wronged him, that the crown should have been his. And so, jealousy began to whisper in his ear, twisting his heart into something cruel. He began to plan, patient and precise. He would not fight the king directly. No, he would destroy the king's heart first, through his son. One morning, he approached Simba with a smile that carried no warmth. "Simba, my dear nephew," he said softly, "I have a surprise for you. A gift, one only a future king deserves to see. But you must promise not to tell your father." Excited, Simba nodded. He trusted his uncle, for children do not yet see the darkness in others. Scaroon led him to the gorge, a wide valley surrounded by cliffs. It was silent, the kind of silence that makes the earth hold its breath. "Wait here," Scaroon said. "Your surprise is coming." Simba sat on the rocks, eyes bright, tail flicking. The ground beneath him began to tremble. He frowned. Then came the sound, distant at first, then louder, a rumbling storm of wolves. Wildebeests, hundreds of them, pouring through the gorge like thunder. The air filled with dust and panic. Simba's heart pounded as he tried to climb to safety, calling out for help, his voice trembling with fear. And then, through the chaos, Mufaro came. The king charged down the cliffside, his roar slicing through the storm. His muscles strained, his eyes locked on his son. Dust and death swirled around him, but nothing would stop him. He leapt through the stampede, pushing against the tide, until he reached Simba. He lifted the cub in his jaws, placing him safely on a ledge. But in that instant, the earth beneath him gave way. Mufaro fell. He caught the edge of the cliff, claws digging into the rock, muscles trembling under his weight. He looked up and saw his brother. Scaroon looked down, his face calm, his eyes full of victory. He leaned closer and whispered the words that would end a king and begin an empire of pain. "Long live the king!" With a single shove, Mufaro fell. The stampede swallowed him whole. When the dust settled, the silence was deafening. Simba crawled down the rocks, his small body shaking, calling out for his father. "Dad! Dad! We can go home now. Please, let's go home." But the king did not move. Simba pressed his head against his father's mane, tears soaking And Simba ran. His small legs carried him through thorns and shadows, through rivers and pain. He ran until the air tore at his lungs and his body gave out. Behind him, Scaroon watched the dust fade and smiled. The throne was his. The Lion King was dead, and the cub who should have inherited the sun was swallowed by the night. Days passed. The desert stretched before Simba, like an endless punishment. His paws bled, his throat burned. The vultures circled above, waiting for him to fall. But something within him, a flicker of his father's strength, refused to die. He found shelter beneath a twisted tree. The stars watched him, cold and distant. He looked up and whispered, "Father, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." His voice broke. "I'll never be a king. I can't." The wind stirred softly, almost like a whisper of reply. It brushed through his mane, carrying a voice faint but familiar. A memory more than a sound. "Remember who you are." Simba lifted his head. The night was silent again, but something within him stirred, faint, fragile, alive. The cub who had lost everything still had one thing left, a heart that refused to stop beating. Curled beneath the stars, his body moved, his spirit filled. The storm had taken heaven. His father was because destiny never truly dies. It waits, even in exile, even in silence, even in the heart of a broken cub who was once meant to be king. And somewhere far above, beyond the clouds and time itself, the father watched his son and whispered again. Rise. The days that followed were cruel. The sun scorched the earth, the wind carried no mercy, and every step Simba took away from his past only led him deeper into nowhere. He was a cub without a kingdom, a name without meaning. He stumbled through dust and drought until his paws could no longer hold him. When he finally collapsed, the world around him blurred into silence. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. From the shadows of the wilderness came laughter, strange, light-hearted laughter that didn't belong to this broken world. Two wanderers emerged, a meerkat named Timo and a warthog called Simba. They looked at the unconscious cub lying in the sand. "Looks half dead to me." Let's help him before he's all dead," replied Simba, his voice kind and simple. They dragged him to safety, shaded him underneath, gave him water from the stream. And when Simba finally opened his eyes, they smiled. "You're safe, kid. Welcome to nowhere." Simba blinked quickly. "Nowhere," Timo grinned. "Exactly. The best place to start over." Simba didn't reply. His body was alive, but his spirit was gone. He had lost everything. His father, his home, his reason to live. Yet, Timo and Pumbaa didn't ask questions. They didn't ask who he was or what he had done. They just fed him, laughed with him, and told him 3 words that would soon become a part of his soul. Hakuna Matata, no worries. At first, Simba didn't understand it. How could there be no worries when his heart was buried under guilt? How could one smile when the past was heavy as a mountain? But the jungle had its own rhythm, soft, forgiving, alive. The rivers sparkled, the sun played through the trees, and the nights glowed under the laughter of new friends. Days became weeks, weeks became months. Simba grew, taller, stronger, older. His mane thickened, his muscles shaped by time and peace. He learned to laugh again, to run again, to live again. And for a while, he forgot. He forgot the roar of the stampede. He forgot the sound of his father's voice. He forgot who he was, and that forgetting felt like healing. But true healing never hides from truth. It meets it. Years later, on a quiet night beneath the stars, Simba lay near the river. The reflection of the sky shimmered on the surface. He stared into it, seeing not the lion he was, but the cub he once had been. And for the first time in years, he whispered, "Father, are you still watching me?" The stars twinkled above, silent. The night gave no answer, but his heart ached, not with pain, but with longing. He remembered Mufaro's words. A king's strength is not in his roar, but in his heart. Simba had strength now, yes, but no purpose. His heart had grown silent, and then fate stirred once more. While hunting one morning, Simba heard a sound, a roar, faint but familiar. He followed it through the jungle, and there she stood, Nala. Time had changed them both, yet the moment their eyes met, the past returned. "Simba?" she whispered. He froze. "Nala?" Her eyes filled with tears, joy and disbelief entwined. "You're alive," he smiled faintly. "I thought I'd never see anyone from home again." But her smile faded. "Simba, you have to come back. The Pride Lands are dying. Scarron has destroyed everything. The rivers are dry. The animals are starving. Your mother, everyone is barely surviving." Simba looked away. His chest tightened. "I can't go back." Nala's voice trembled. "Why? You're the rightful king." His breath shook. "I'm not the king. Not anymore. My father died because of me. I don't deserve the throne. I don't deserve anything." Nala stepped closer. Her eyes were soft but fierce. "Simba, you're wrong. You're not the cub who ran away. You've lived through loss, pain, and exile. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you ready." He turned away. "You don't understand." "Then make me," she said, her tone sharp now. "Tell me how hiding in the jungle helps anyone. Tell me how running from your past honors your father." The words cut deep. Simba's voice broke. "He's gone, Nala, and I can't change that." She looked at him, tears falling. "No, you can't, but you can change what comes next." Her words lingered long after she left. Simba sat beneath the stars again that night, the same stars his father once showed him. The wind moved through the trees, carrying whispers, gentle, familiar, eternal. He looked up. "Father, I don't know who I am anymore." And then, through the silence of the jungle, came a voice, deep, calm, loving. "You are more than what you have become." Simba's eyes widened. The wind stirred stronger. The clouds shifted, revealing the stars shaped like a lion's face. His father's voice filled the sky. "You have forgotten me because you have forgotten yourself. Remember who you are. You are my son, the one true king." Simba's heart pounded, his eyes filled with tears. He whispered, "But I'm scared." And the voice replied, soft yet powerful, "Courage is not the absence of fear, my son. It is the decision to face it." Lightning flashed across the sky, and the echo of the voice faded, leaving only the rain and the wind. But within Simba's soul something had awakened. The cub who once ran away had found his father again. Not in the heavens, but within himself. He stood tall for the first time in years, his mane dripping with rain, his chest rising with new strength. He looked toward the horizon where his past awaited, and he whispered, "I'm coming home." The jungle, once his refuge, now felt too small for him. He had learned peace there, but peace without purpose is only sleep. The wind howled across the desert as Simba walked back toward the land he once fled. The same desert that had broken him now lay beneath his feet again. But this time, he did not stumble. This time each step carried purpose. The sun beat down hard, yet it no longer burned him. He had faced the fire within himself, the fire of guilt, of fear, of memory, and survived. He was no longer the cub who ran from his destiny. He was a lion walking toward it. The journey back was long, but the thought of his father's voice, those 5 immortal words, kept him moving. "Remember who you are." And now he did. When he finally reached the border of the Pride Lands, his heart sank. What was once green and alive was now dry, lifeless, silent. The rivers had turned to dust. The grass that once shimmered gold now lay gray and dead. Bones littered the valley where laughter once lived. The kingdom was dying, and Scarron sat upon its throne. Simba's heart burned with grief. But beneath the grief was something deeper, fury. Not the kind born from hatred, but the kind born from love. Love for his people, for his home, for his father's dream. He climbed the hill where his father once stood and saw the great rock, his birthright, now darkened by smoke and shadow. At its peak sat Scarron, his mane blackened, his eyes hollow, his voice echoing through the wasteland. "This is my kingdom," Scarron hissed, surrounded by hyenas and fear. "And none shall challenge me." But the challenge had already come. From the horizon, a golden mane rose from the mist. The lost cub had returned. When Simba stepped onto the stone, thunder rolled across the sky. Every creature turned, lions, hyenas, even the wind itself, and for the first time in years, hope flickered in their eyes. Scarron froze. His voice trembled with disbelief. "Simba, you're alive?" Simba's gaze was steady. "I'm here to take back what's mine." Scarron sneered. "You don't deserve it. You're the reason your father is dead. The words were sharp, the same poison that once sent him running. But not anymore. Simba no longer ran from pain. He faced it. No, Scarron, he said quietly. I'm not the reason he died. You are. The sky split with lightning. The ground trembled. The war for the Pride Lands began. Hyenas lunged, lions roared, claws struck stone. The mountain shook under the weight of vengeance and truth. Fire spread through the dry grass, painting the night in orange and fury. Simba fought with the strength of every scar he carried, every tear he shed. He fought for his father, for his mother, for every voice silenced by fear. Scarron attacked with rage, wild, desperate. Their roars echoed across the plains, two brothers of blood now divided by fate. As they clashed, Scarron's voice cracked with hatred. You'll never be like him. Simba's eyes blazed. I'm not trying to be him, I'm trying to be me. With one final strike, Scarron lost his grip, sliding down the rocks into the fire he had created. His roar turned to silence. The storm broke, rain fell, and for the first time in years, the Pride Lands breathed again. Simba stood in the rain, his mane heavy, his eyes lifted to the sky. He saw his father's reflection in the clouds, proud, peaceful, eternal. Mufaro's voice whispered through the storm. You have faced your fear, my son. You have taken your place in the circle of life. Simba's eyes closed. He took a deep breath, and then he climbed to the top of Pride Rock. The entire kingdom stood below. Lions, elephants, zebras, all silent, waiting. Simba looked at them. His people, his home, his destiny. And then he roared. It wasn't just a roar of victory. It was the roar of forgiveness, of rebirth, of peace. It was the sound of a cub becoming a king. The rain poured harder, washing away the ashes, feeding the soil, healing the land. Grass began to grow again. Life returned. The Pride Lands, once broken, now thrived under a new dawn. Simba stood upon the great rock, golden light bathing his mane. He was not his father, and that was his greatest strength. Because where his father's reign was built on legacy, Simba's was built on lessons. He had learned that a king's true power isn't in his throne or in his roar. It is in his heart, in his courage to fall and his will to rise again. He looked to the sky one last time and whispered, Thank you, Father, I remember who I am. And far above, hidden behind clouds and stars, a voice answered with pride and warmth. The crown was never lost, my son. It was waiting for you to be ready. Simba's eyes closed, the wind brushing through his mane like a blessing. He stood not as a cub, not as a warrior, but as something far greater. A king forged not by birth but by fire, from exile to empire, from fear to faith, from broken to reborn. Simba had not just reclaimed his kingdom, he had reclaimed himself. And as the sun rose once more over the savannah, every living thing bowed, not to a ruler, but to a lion who proved that even the lost can find their way home again. Every soul faces exile, moments where the world feels lost, where guilt and failure seem endless. But sometimes exile is not punishment, it's preparation. The wilderness is where kings are born, not crowned. Like Simba, your empire begins the moment you stop running and start remembering who you truly are.